Alright guys, take a look at this. This is a Ducati Multistrada, the second ever Ducati that I've ever run. This is the Multistrada V4 S. We'll take this one for a test drive today. Yep. Need a little instruction first here. Alright, let's see if I can get up on this one. Alright. Alright, nice. Alright.
Brand new tires and they're knobbies.
Oh, okay.
So be gentle.
Okay. Alright, so take a look at these crazy mirrors. Take a look at this. Alright, looks like we need a wrench, guys. This thing's, they're gonna go grab a wrench. I don't know how that happened. Looked like someone was trying to adjust the mirrors. And yeah. These are crazy mirrors. Yeah, this one needs to come back too, huh? Alright, so we fixed the mirrors. Alright, so take a look at this. This is interesting. The foot pegs are pretty far back. And look at how much room I have. You could be, I'm actually 6'4". There's a lot of room here. Alright, here we go. I absolutely love this this display. It's kind of like the displays on the Indian motorcycles. It almost looks like a piece of paper where you don't have any glare from the sun, which is really nice. Alright, I'm gonna kind of feel the clutch a little bit. It's like about a finger and a half on the clutch. Alright, we're off and running. So this is pretty rough on this road. You'd almost want to stand up a little bit on this. Wow, so I'm pretty wound out. Going 15. So pretty low gearing on this. Of course, that's what you'd expect. This is kind of more of an off-road bike. Alright. Interesting. Let's see if I can, this gravel is thick. That's the problem with this gravel. It's like super thick. Trying to maneuver through the bumps in the gravel. Alright, so this has your typical blinkers. Let's see if I can get used to the brakes. Whoa, yeah. Alright, wow. Multistrada, huh? Wow, that's pretty awesome. Alright. Huh. One thing I did notice about this is it really absorbs a lot of the vibration in the handlebars. So I'd say this is kind of the first impression is, whoa, the clutch is really tricky. Really tricky clutch on this. Wow. Wow, super smooth. I got it up to 60 and it's super smooth. Wow. Probably one of the smoothest, and it has a lot of power too. Lots of power. I don't think it has enough power to lift up the front end. Of course, I'm in touring mode. Alright, so interesting. It has a really small windshield. That does pretty good. Not too bad for a small windshield. Pulls a lot of the wind off my chest. Wow, the front end is the front end. It's wow. How can I explain the front end? It's funny because it feels like it's really maneuverable, but you lean it, it's like really flickable. But when you lean it over, it just like locks into place. It doesn't really give you the instability that you'd see with some of them. I don't know, maybe I could pick up that front end. This thing's got some pretty good power, even in touring mode. I was trying to get into sport mode, but I can't quite figure it out. Alright, so as far as the heat coming off the bike, which seems to be an issue for a lot of these, I can feel a little bit of heat coming off my wow, on my left foot. My left foot is warmer than the rest, which is interesting. But it's not bad. It's so far. We'll see how that left foot gets. It's getting pretty hot. This thing is really fun. It's got a lot of pickup. I'm starting to get used to it. Alright, so the seat is not too bad actually. It's a very firm seat. Actually, the last bike I was on, the seat was worse than this. It was killing me, so I got on this bike already with kind of a bias, like a sore rear end, I guess you could say. So this one's not too bad. I think I could probably do a couple hours on this one. Without any problems. Not the most comfortable seat. It's definitely more, I'd say more of an off-road seat. The mirrors are actually pretty cool. Pretty cool mirrors on this one. They're really bowed out a lot, and you can see, let's see, over the railroad tracks, not bad at all. Oh, look at that. My blinker's still on. No self-canceling blinkers, are you kidding me? No self-canceling blinkers. Oh man, that's ridiculous. Alright, so that kind of drives me crazy. A lot of the bikes that I ride, my own personal bike has self-canceling blinkers. This wind is kind of interesting on this because we're going like 55. It's a little bit choppy, I'd say. The wind's kind of choppy. So yeah, so my left foot is really warm out of everything on the bike, which is kind of crazy. I've ridden some bikes where it's so hot on both legs, it's like a blow dryer on high, just burning you up. But this one's good, all except for my left foot, which is weird. Let's see if we can get around these guys here. Wow. Wow. Lots of power. Plenty of power. Back brakes are decent. Front brakes are a little bit better. So Back brakes are not surprising. They're good, but not really surprising. You know, sometimes you hit the brakes and you feel like you're gonna flip the whole bike. Yeah, not too bad. Pretty good shock absorbing qualities too. Pretty smooth on the road. Any little bumps, it just kind of sucks up. Not really any vibration in the handlebars that I noticed. Probably one of the best as far as taking all the vibration out of the handlebars. Alright, so I hit a button and we're back to the main screen. It took me a while to figure out which button. You know, actually, I don't think we were in sport mode. I think we might be in sport mode now. Which is interesting. Yeah, because I can definitely tell a difference now that we're back on the main screen. I think this is sport mode because it seems like there's a lot of engine braking in this mode. Where I let off the brakes, or just let off the gas, and it seemed like there was a lot of engine brake. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, super fast. All right, now we're in full sport mode. All right, so you have to actually choose sport, and then you have to go back to the main screen in order to get fully into sport mode. Yeah, and when I release the throttle, there's definitely a lot of engine braking. Pretty interesting. So this is a pretty nice bike, actually. Super fun. I don't really notice any problems with the wind. A little bit choppy, but not like buffeting or anything. Not really bugging me. It's not really too loud. You know, some bikes have a really loud wind. It's loud, but not loud enough to where I need earplugs. You know, normally I wear like a Bluetooth earbud and I listen to music, but so it's kind of like my own earplugs. It has an interesting sound. It's a pretty quiet bike, actually. There's not a whole lot of sound to it. Even when you're giving it gas, it seems like there's not a whole lot of sound, which is kind of nice. But it sounds good, though. That's a good sound to it. It's probably one of the best bikes that I've ridden like this. I've ridden the Africa Twin, which seems like it's pretty buzzy in the handlebars. A lot more buzzy. A lot more buzzy. I've ridden some Triumph Tigers, which seems like they get really hot. A lot of engine heat from those. I've ridden the Harley Davidson Pan America, which unless you get the one that automatically lowers when you pull up to the stop sign, it's a little bit too tall even for me. I'm like 6'4", and I was like, you know, could barely reach the ground on that thing. So this kind of has the best of all the bikes, I would say. The only downside is a little bit of heat on my left foot, which is noticeable. If you were driving through the desert, 120 degrees, you might be complaining about the heat in your left foot. But yeah, brakes are good, stability's good, the wind's good. the power is great, and especially in sport mode. This thing flies. Almost like takes your breath away, which is kind of crazy. The one thing is that the clutch is a little bit tricky. I'd say it has kind of a short friction zone. So by the time it starts engaging the clutch until the time it's all the way out, it's a pretty short little zone, the friction zone. So those are always, for me, it's always kind of hard to get used to. The Indians probably have the worst friction zone because it has a lot of play, and then after like 2 inches of play, then it has a really short friction zone. I guess maybe this is kind of the same way. So take a look at this. You're actually going way out, maybe 2 inches, maybe like an Indian. I'd say you go out quite a bit, and then you're kind of fishing for that friction zone. So like when I'm sitting here, I'm like fishing for the friction zone, and then once I hit it, I kind of hold it there. Whoa. That's the problem riding with groups. Gets a little sketchy sometimes. Alright, so I want to try these blinkers again. Just to see. Oh, look at that. That time it canceled automatically. That's weird. That's really weird. Alright, slow speed stability, not the greatest. When you get down to like 1 or 2 miles per hour, not really the greatest, I'd say. But of course it's a real tall bike with kind of a skinny tire, so kind of to be expected. You know, like some of the, like your Harley Davidson Fat Boy and your Fat Bob with a really thick front tire. They have really great slow speed stability, almost like they're on training wheels. It's so amazing. So this one's pretty nice. I like the look of it too. Multistrada V4. So it definitely tells you a lot of information. Tells you what gear you're in, the RPM, mile per hour, total miles, range, trip. Air temperature is 84. Tells you your coolant temperature, 216. That's interesting. So yeah, so I'm like fishing for my friction zone right there. Wow, this thing like takes off. In sport mode, this thing's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, I find myself canceling my blinkers because it's not quick. Seems like a Harley Davidson's quicker to cancel the blinkers. So we're in 4th gear, going about 50 at about 4,000 RPM. So let's see, if we were in like a 6th gear, 6th gear going 50, we're about 3,500 RPM. So that kind of tells you like the maximum speed as far as what you could go on this. Maybe you could cruise on the highway. I don't know if you could get, you know, much faster than, you know, 80, 85 without it really kind of winding out, I'd say. Then a lot of times, especially on bikes like this, if you really go too fast and wind out the engine, a lot of times you get a lot of buzziness through the handlebars. But on this one, I don't think you would, because it seems like there's not a lot of buzziness coming up through this bike, which is pretty awesome. I'd say this is probably one of the best bikes I've ridden. That's like this style of bike. Alright, let's see where we're at here. Yeah, it's a pretty nice bike. It feels like it's pretty light. It doesn't feel like a heavy bike. It feels really planted on the highway though. But I would think if you drop this bike, you could pick it up pretty easy. Goes fairly well through this thick gravel. A little bit squirrely, I'd say. Not too bad. Of course, I got the thick knobby tires on this one, so probably this would probably be good for like mud or something like that. The other thing, I don't know if it's just on this one. Maybe it's just because I'm getting fatigued, but my left wrist is starting to hurt from pulling in the clutch. I think it's just because I've been riding so much. It does seem like it kind of has maybe kind of a stiff clutch. Not the stiffest that I've felt, but it does seem like it takes quite a bit of pressure to actually pull in the clutch. Huh? That was awesome.